Hello everyone and welcome to WhiskyWars. Today we have two Campbeltowns to review today on the channel. Now I picked both of these whiskies up in duty free and they are both travel retail whiskies. Now I made it a goal this year to add a couple more Campbeltowns to my collection, and I also wanted at least one Glen Scotia. So I've done that, which I'm really happy with. We have the Glen Scotia travel retail 1 litre bottle, bottled at 46%. So this whiskey is a little bit confusing. I think it's the Campbeltown 1832 because there's no other name for it. So I don't know how to name it apart from saying this is the 1 litre travel retail Glen Scotia, which is finished in Pedro Jimenez sherry casks, bottled at 46%. And we're going to be reviewing this whiskey against the Glen Scotia 10-year Cask Strength, which has had no finishing period. It's just purely matured in ex-bourbon cask. Now I have already filmed a neck pour for the Glen Scotia 10-year, so if you want to check that one out, that is on the channel. I haven't managed to do the neck pour for the Glen Scotia. I bought this just before I started doing those reviews. Now the Glen Scotia 10-year is natural colour and non-chill filtered. There's nothing that's been mentioned about this Glen Scotia finished in PX casks, so let's assume that it's not. Now they are both peated as well. Okay, let's get them poured out. Now the 10-year Cask Strength is bottled at 55.3% ABV, so almost 10% stronger than the Glen Scotia. Let's start off with the nose on the Glen Scotia PX sherry cask. I have to be honest, it's an incredible nose. It genuinely incredible. For me, this is a 9.5 out of 10 on the nose. I love the nose. The PX sherry characteristics come through. It's a little bit nutty, also sherried, raisins, almonds, hazelnuts, rich red fruits, beautifully blended with. And if you've had Campbeltown whiskies before, you know that sort of DNA that's running through this whiskey. A little bit oily, a little bit butterscotchy, a little bit funky, but also blended with this little, just gentle waft of smoke. So it gives it like a gentle smoked toffee. Also oily and funky, that gives it a little bit of a bitter note, but also blended with the sweet PX cask. It's a great nose. What I will say is the nose is delicate and subtle. So if you notice when I nose this whiskey, my nose is in the glass. But you also get a little bit of wood char as well on that nose. Sorry, I just want to say, I've just read the back of the label. It is non-chill filtered and natural colour. So both of these whiskies are natural colour and non-chill filtered. Vanilla pods as well. So it's a very, very nice nose. Okay, onto the 10-year. Very different. This whiskey is going to be quite different because it's purely ex-bourbon cask. So this is more the traditional DNA of Glen Scotia. But it is also aged for 10 years. So it's allowed a lot more time in the cask, but it's proofed at Cask Strength. So I was so excited to buy this whiskey because I feel like I'm getting the true Glen Scotia. That funkiness is stronger on the 10-year. And it's a lot more oily. And that really sets it off into a very nice but strange direction. But it's blended with this intense, quite syrupy, sweet butterscotch and toffee. Wood spice as well. But the sweetness in this whiskey is going to be a marmalade jam. Apricots and marmalade jams. It's a little bit coastal in nature as well. It's just a little bit salty. It certainly comes across a little bit more salty than the PX does, but it's still not too salty. Very nice. I also pick up a little bit of vanilla on the nose on this whiskey as well. And as you probably have already guessed, the PX is the sweeter of the two whiskies. I actually think, for me, I like the 10-year so much on the nose, but the PX Glen Scotia is incredible on the nose, and I actually think the nose goes to the PX. Let's get on to the taste, but before we do, if you like the video or you're enjoying it so far, please do drop a like on the video and don't forget to click that subscribe button. Okay, let's get on to the taste. And this is where the negativity starts to build a little bit for me. As always, 100% honest. For me, the finish on this whiskey is really quite short-lived. Initially, you get that beautiful vanilla PX cask finish. A little bit of nuttiness, raisins, red fruits with vanilla. Beautiful, but it's so short-lived. And then it's just finished with quite a dry wood note and nothing else, and it just dissipates. Feels a little bit empty, a little bit thin, and that's something that really disappoints me with this whiskey. The nose was so amazing. The taste for 2 or 3 seconds is just as amazing, and then gone. Super disappointing, really. And honestly, not much to say. Apart from those few notes that I mentioned there, you certainly get a lot more on the nose than you do on the taste. Okay, let's go to the 10-year Cask Strength. Super oily. Oily, funky. Possibly the oiliest whiskey that I have, and it really gives me that Campbeltown essence, which I really crave. I would say the strongest note on this whiskey is going to be that oiliness. That Campbeltown essence is so strong, so intense, and I love it. Almost engine oil kind of on the taste, and then behind that you get met with a combination of the marmalade and apricot jam. So a little bit of orange, a little bit of apricot, but very syrupy sweet, jammy. A little bit bready though. I'm going to say now an apricot jam and marmalade on toast. Like a slightly burnt toast. So that incredible oiliness, Campbeltown essence, which is hard to pinpoint. It's like an engine oily kind of vibe, with marmalade apricot jam on toast, a slightly burnt toast. It's actually quite buttery as well, but it's a salted butter. So you get a really nice balance of salty and sweet. I would still say it edges towards the sweet, but it's not on the sweet side of things. It's just, if that's a saltiness, sweetness in the middle, I'd say it's just slightly into the sweet, because it's got both of them in there. Butterscotch and toffee as well. A gentle smoked toffee. The peat levels in both these two whiskies, I think they're similar. It's very light, and it just gives this light waft of smoke. But it's lovely because it gives a smoked toffee kind of vibe. This is a very nice whiskey. This whiskey is very sticky, sweet, fruity. Certainly those orange fruits. A hint of something tropical as well. I have to be honest, I like this whiskey a lot. This one's one of my favourite whiskies. So let's quickly touch on the price. The Glen Scotia PX cask, it is a 1 litre bottle. I picked this one up for £55. I also picked up the 10-year Cask Strength for £55, but this is a normal 700ml bottling. I think it's clear. The 10-year Cask Strength is way more value for money. I think it's incredible. I really recommend you go out and pick it up. I should have mentioned this at the start. This is batch 1, bottled 2022. There's only 2,000 bottles of this made. So I'm gonna really try and pick up another bottle of this. It's that good. I really like this whiskey. I have to be honest though, the nose of this whiskey beats this whiskey. taste is so disappointing. It's below average on the taste. It's really falls flat and lets you down. But the nose is incredible. So I think in the future, if I saw maybe an aged Glen Scotia finished in PX casks, I'll snap it up, because I know the nose is going to be great, and I just think that extra age hopefully will help the taste a little bit more. But do I recommend this whiskey? £55? No. I don't recommend the whiskey, even though on the nose it's one of my favourite whiskies in my collection. I really like the nose. But for me, the taste is ever so slightly more important than the nose in a whiskey. They're both very important, obviously, but I do value the taste a little bit more. So this one I wouldn't buy again. But I do recommend it for that nose. It's very nice. So quite clearly, the winner today is going to be the Glen Scotia 10-year Cask Strength. Pick this one up in Manchester Terminal 1, for those of you that are wondering. Really worth the money. In fact, let's just be honest. The Lafroig 10 Cask Strength is £75. This one is made in a much more limited release. And it's a Campbeltown whiskey, and you know the prices of Campbeltowns. So for what you're getting, I think it's exceptional value for money. I really do. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it helped and shed light on two Glen Scotias. My favourite's the 10-year Cask Strength, but the nose on this PX cask is incredible. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like on the video and don't forget to click that subscribe button down below. Really trying to hit 1,000 subscribers soon. So if you can help, that would be great. And please consider sharing the video as well with people. That would really be much appreciated. Thank you so much for watching this Whiskey War, and I hope to see you all for the next Whiskey War.